I was this close to turning the TV off last night. This close. Play the thing. Hi, my name is Steve. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to review the 1st of June issue of NXT, and my God, I almost lost it with this episode. Redeemed itself halfway through, but yeah, man, I was 20 minutes in and I was ready to turn the show off. So let's get into it. The show starts off with the number one contenders match, Kyle O'Reilly versus Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne, and it's fantastic. It started fantastic for the first 15 minutes, sort of up to their first commercial break. Yeah, it was a really, really good match. It just, unfortunately, just after the commercial break, it just all went downhill. Talking about the first half, just, yeah, unbelievable. One of them would have one of them in a submission, but that would then be put into a submission by the third person. Yeah, just absolute masterclass of wrestling, but unfortunately, yeah, it just all goes wrong. We come back from the commercial break, and just before it all sort of loses itself, you get Gargano hit a pretty sweet DDT from reversing the bitter end. He does manage to end up hitting the bitter end on Johnny, but he only gets a 2 count for that, which is broken by Kyle, who comes off the top rope with that dropping knee. But then Adam Cole comes out, and my God, this just goes to hell. It just absolutely goes to hell. He takes out all 3 men with the steel chair. Regal comes out, and you're just like, okay, Adam Cole's put his 2 cents worth in, so let's just carry on with the match. Come back from commercial break. No, match is over. So a no DQ match ended in a DQ. Yes, no? I haven't got a clue. The first I knew about it, you got Ember Moon coming out, and I'm like, what's Ember Moon doing out in the middle of a triple threat match? And so, no, it's just because there was no one else. It was literally just Ember Moon. Adam Cole's still hanging around the ringside arena, being told to leave by William Regal. I was seriously contemplating turning my TV off at this point. Luckily enough, it saves itself later on, but we'll get into that as it comes around. So after Ember comes out, she's in the ring. She's calling out Raquel for her attack on Shotzi last week, and she basically says that she wants to face her. Raquel comes down. Ember ends up getting the best of Raquel and standing tall. Regal then had to come back out again to pull Raquel away from Ember, but Ember is then jumped by Dakota Kai. The 2 of them walk off standing tall. This first half hour just completely went to mess over it all, just completely went wrong. We then get a short promo by the Legado del Fantasma talking about their NXT Tag Team title match later on in the night. We then get LA Knight on his way to the ring cutting a promo saying about how he's going to face Jake Atlas. We then come back from the commercial break and get a Drake Maverick promo where he's confronted by Everrise, who are then confronted by Hit Row, who are then confronted by Killian Dane, and Swerve then introduces the hit list. So this is going to be their thing going forward, where they have a sheet of names for people they're going to go for. Pretty pointless, really, because nothing actually becomes of it later on. There's no match between them or anything. It's just a confrontation that I really probably could have done without. We then get LA Knight versus Jake Atlas. Half decent match. This was more sort of a showcase for LA Knight to show DiBiase what he can do. DiBiase comes down halfway through the match and is standing outside watching. Grimes then comes down to talk to DiBiase, and it's basically just kind of a, this is the reason why I should carry on your $1 million legacy kind of thing. Ultimately, though, it ends with Jake Atlas actually picking up the win. He ends up hitting a sweet Death Valley driver, and then that cartwheel DDT from the top rope for the win. They sets up a match for TakeOver. It's going to be, like I said last week, I think it's going to be LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. But the fact that Jake Atlas has beat both LA Knight and Cameron Grimes in his last 2 matches, I've got a slight feeling there's going to be a swerve here, and DiBiase's going to end up picking Jake Atlas instead of these 2. But yeah, like I said, it'll be fun to see what happens at TakeOver with that one. We then cut backstage to the trainer's room, where all 3 of the participants in the number one contenders match are being seen to. Only Lorcan and Austin Theory end up getting into a confrontation about it all. This then cuts back to DiBiase, who's being interviewed backstage by Mackenzie. Adam Cole just walks past, completely dismissing the interview, and he just walks out to the ring. We come back from the commercial break, and my God, this is one of the best promos I've seen in a goddamn long time. Like, Adam Cole, who hasn't won a match in 2021, inserts himself into this main event scene, and with this promo alone, absolutely fantastic. He basically says that he's the real number one contender. Cross says Adam Cole isn't special anymore. Cole says he's overrated. Regal then comes out because he knows what Adam Cole's trying to do by inserting himself into an NXT title match at TakeOver. Cross tells him to shut up, and he says he doesn't care. He'll take on all of the competitors at TakeOver. It's going to be a fatal 5-way for the NXT Championship. It's going to be Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. And yeah, what a fantastic way to get Adam Cole back into this title scene, for the fact that he hasn't won a match and in such a long time. It was unbelievable promo. Karrion Kross as well, coming across as a human being in this promo. Like, I felt like I wanted to get behind him with this promo. Such an amazing promo. It ends up with Adam Cole leaving the ring and throwing a water bottle at Karrion Kross. And Scarlett looked to be more pissed at that than what Kross was. So yeah, that was. I'm psyched for this Fatal 5-Way now. I think if you just had, say for instance, Gargano versus Kross, yeah, it would have still been a good match. But now it's a Fatal 5-Way. It's going to be off the rail, this match. We then cut to a backstage interview with Candice and Indy Hartwell. They're talking about their upcoming match tonight against Zoe Stark and Zayda Ramir. Indy's in a world of her own. She's listening to 80s love ballads, and she's all into this. I think they've dubbed it Index. Candice ends up taking the headphones off of Indy, putting them on the side. There's another slight clip later on where Dexter picks up these headphones, starts listening to the love ballads, and he's crying. I don't know if this is supposed to be giving you some sort of, I don't know, sympathetic heart to Dexter Lumis, but yeah, not a fan of that really. Dexter Lumis should be Dexter Lumis, I feel. We then get the weirdest piece I've ever seen on WWE TV. Wade Barrett is sitting at the commentary table and he announces that Kushida was going to have an open challenge tonight for his NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and then he introduces the wrestler, but also says his former indie name as well. So he goes, oh yeah, he's going to be challenged by Carmelo Hayes, formerly known as Christian Casanova on the indie scene. And I was like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen them do on TV, is actually kayfabe a name change. It was such a strange thing. But yeah, Carmelo Hayes, he's 13 years in the industry. He's majority wrestled for a lot of smaller independents, predominantly Northeast Wrestling. Yeah, I'd say it's just very, very strange scenario for it all. Just before that, we get a T&. Shaw promo, and my God, WWE, long-term storytelling, are you for real? Basically, it turns around and says why T&. Shaw are aiming for Mercedes Martinez. It goes back to actually the Mae Young Classic 4 years ago, and Xia Li's first ever match was against Martinez, and Martinez just destroyed her, and she basically says there was disrespect on my family and all this kind of stuff. Are we actually going to get a conclusion to a T&. Shaw angle now? And the fact that it's long-term storytelling, obviously it was never planned, but the fact that it's a 4-year in the making match kind of thing, and you're kind of like, wow, WWE doing long-term storytelling is just, this isn't normal. But I believe it's announced later on the night that that's going to be one of the matches. Xia Li representing T&. Shaw versus Mercedes Martinez. We then cut back for the Kushida Carmelo Hayes match. It's a fairly decent match, a decent debut by Carmelo Hayes. You can see his athleticism and stuff like that. Kushida ends up winning with the hoverboard lock, but yeah, there was nothing, no wow factor to it for me by Carmelo Hayes. Yeah, he had a good display, just nothing that made me go, wow, I really need to pay attention to this guy. Hopefully in sort of his next up and coming matches, he'll sort of find more of a footing or be able to deliver something that offers that wow factor, or that I must watch this person kind of thing. So no, it's no disrespect to the guy, really good wrestler, really talented. It's just I wasn't wowed by the match. It was just a decent match. There was nothing that made me go, wow, who is this Carmelo Hayes? I need to go back and watch his previous stuff. Coming back from the commercial break, Frankie Monet is having a makeup done by her beauticians and stuff like that. She's talking about all the feedback she got from her debut match last night. She's basically been reading the reviews and all this kind of stuff, and she says this is just the beginning, there's still more to come. We then get the tag match of Zoe Stark and Zayda Ramir versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. The Exorcist music still gets me for Candice and Indy. Really horror movie-esque music, sort of, yeah, it's kind of creepy. Large domination by the champs in this match, as expected. Zoe Stark gets a really good hot tag during it. They hit that wicked stepsister and that diving elbow for the win. I would have thought that they may be to play off with this Dexter's promo earlier on in the day, that he might have come down at some point. I don't know, but I say, yeah, it was an alright match. You see, it's another win on the belt of the tag champs. We then get a Diamond Mine video. We haven't seen one of these in a while, and it actually ends with the words opening soon. And I've got a really bad feeling this is going to be like Raw Underground. And yeah, I'm really skeptical about it now, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it. But like I said, hopefully it's NXT. They normally do stuff really well, so hopefully this all turns out all right. We then get Ember talking backstage. She says that she wants to co-headline next week, and then she wants to go on to face Raquel Gonzalez at TakeOver in Your House for the Women's Championship. That is yet to be announced. I presume that will be made next week after they have their match, so we'll see what happens with that. And then on to the main event. It's Legado del Fantasma versus MSK for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I was quite annoyed to start with. You had a few people booing MSK, and I'm like, I don't understand. They're a good team. They haven't done it. They were not working heel. Like I said, it was only like one or two. It really sort of irritated me, because I was like, these are your face team, and they haven't done anything to deserve being booed. Honestly, I say, unless you're a really big Legado del Fantasma fan, because everyone else was cheering just sort of 2 or 3 people. But hey, that's their opinion, they're entitled to it. Shortly into the match, the Grizzled Young Veterans come down, but they're abruptly stopped by Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, and they're removed from the scene. The show's kind of all over the place. Like, authority figures just couldn't control the show tonight with all this kind of interference and stuff. The match gets better as it progressively goes along. LDF ended up hitting a Rana into a power bomb from the top rope, which I say was an amazing spot. Wes ends up on the outside of the ring. Escobar ends up grabbing him and throwing him into the ring steps, because he's sitting at next to the commentary desk. Escobar then throws him back in. LDF hit their tag team move. The pinfall is actually broken up by Nash. They break it up for the 2. Escobar is outside the ring. He gets attacked by Bronson Reed, because obviously he wants that North American title for Reed. So there's obviously the rivalry going on there for the last couple of weeks. MSK end up hitting their double team net breaker move for the win, and they're still your NXT tag team champions. Reed and MSK end up standing tall in the ring. LDF are at the top of the ramp. So all in all, it started well, ended well, everything in the middle, kind of up in the air about it. A lot of results panned out how you would thought. Not a lot of wrestling, only 4 matches tonight again, which is, I think, is a bit of a shock for NXT. Like I said, after the first 15 minutes, I was going to turn the TV off with how the number 1 contenders match ended, but it redeemed itself with that awesome Adam Cole Karrion Kross promo package. Go back and watch it, because the YouTube video actually cuts a lot of it out, but you need to go back and watch the full thing, because just an unbelievable promo package from Adam Cole. I say, to get himself back into an NXT title match from out of obscurity is just amazing. And Karrion Kross coming across as a human being more now. I'm starting to get more behind him now. I'm starting to actually like him as a character. But yeah, for TakeOver so far, matches announced, there's obviously that fatal 5-way for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross versus Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. I hope that's going to be for the $1 million title. I really would like to see them bring some nostalgia back into it, and say, bring that title back into people's thoughts and memories of it. I say you're probably going to get Ember Moon versus Raquel for the Women's Championship, maybe another tag team title match, maybe a North American Championship match between Reed and Escobar to be added. But yeah, looking to be a really good takeover this year. So a week from Sunday, can't wait to watch it. And that's it, man. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like, drop a comment, and tell me how you felt about this whole mad finish to the number 1 contenders matches. And yeah, I'll say again, if you can just drop a like, because obviously the channel's growing slowly but surely, and we're trying to get to 150, just setting ourselves small goals every time we do this. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.